There are children who learn early that tears make others uncomfortable. They learn to hold their breath through pain, to smile when the room feels heavy, to carry calmness even when their own world is burning. People call them mature for their age, resilient, the strong one. But strength, when born from necessity, does not disappear when the danger is gone. It becomes a habit, quiet, invisible, and heavy. These children grow into adults who still scan every room for tension, who still measure their words to keep peace, who still forget to ask, "What about me?" And years later, when life finally slows down, they begin to feel the weight of everything they never allowed themselves to feel. Some children never get to simply be children. They grow up in homes where emotions feel like weather, unpredictable, sudden, and often dangerous. In those homes, someone must stay steady. And so, without being asked, the child steps into that role. Maybe their mother was always tired. Maybe their father was always angry. Maybe they learned that sharing their sadness would only add another burden to the pile. So they hide it. They smile when others cry. They become careful with their words, reading the air like a second language. At first, it looks like maturity. Teachers praise them for being calm. Adults tell them how well behaved they are. But beneath that praise, something begins to disappear. The part of them that believes it's safe to need. Every time they comfort someone older, they trade a little piece of their own childhood. They learn that love is something you earn through usefulness. That safety is something you build for others but not for yourself. Their small hands hold invisible weight, responsibility, silence, vigilance. Long before they can even name it, they begin to anticipate what others need before being told. They sense the mood before entering a room. They laugh at the right time, stay quiet at the right time, and become experts at keeping peace. No one sees how much effort it takes to stay composed. No one asks who comforts them. Years later, they might not remember the moment this role began, only that it never ended. Even as adults, they still feel a quiet pressure to hold everything together, to be fine, to never inconvenience anyone with their pain. They were the strong one once. And somehow, they never stopped. When a child's love is conditional, they learn to shape themselves into whatever earns them care. If being quiet keeps the peace, they learn silence. If being strong keeps others from falling apart, they learn endurance. And little by little, they begin to believe that being easy to love means not needing much at all. It's not that anyone tells them this outright. It's in the pauses, the moments when tears are met with impatience, or when vulnerability changes the mood in the room. They sense that their feelings take up too much space, and that space in their family is already scarce. Psychologists call this emotional neglect, but the child doesn't know that word. They only know that to keep love close, they must keep themselves small. So they build a version of self that fits. A self that smiles through discomfort, says, "It's okay," even when it's not, and carries guilt for wanting more. Over time, this self becomes the only one they trust. The real one, the needy, scared, tender one, is tucked away, seen as dangerous because it might disrupt the fragile balance they grew up maintaining. This is the quiet birth of emotional self-erasure. It doesn't happen in one big moment. It happens in tiny choices, choosing not to cry, not to ask, not to hope. And eventually, they forget what they even wanted in the first place. As adults, this conditioning lingers. They enter relationships believing that love is something to earn, through caretaking, through understanding, through never being a problem. They apologize too much. They stay quiet during arguments. They feel safest when others feel safe around them. But underneath the calm surface, there's an echo, a small voice asking, "If I stop being useful, will I still be loved?" The mind adapts to what it must survive. When a child is exposed to constant emotional tension, a parent's volatility, a sibling's chaos, an atmosphere of quiet fear, the nervous system learns to stay alert. This alertness becomes their baseline. Neuroscience calls it hypervigilance, the body's way of scanning for danger even in safe moments. But in the strong one, this vigilance isn't dramatic. It's subtle. It shows up as composure, responsibility, awareness. They seem calm, but inside, their body is always preparing for something to go wrong. The brain rewires around this vigilance. Stress hormones like cortisol stay slightly elevated. Empathy networks become overactive. These children develop an extraordinary sensitivity to emotional cues. They can feel a shift in tone before a word is spoken. It's an adaptation that once kept them safe, and later keeps them exhausted. Psychologists call this compensated strength. It's the mind's elegant solution to instability. If you can't rely on others, you become reliable yourself. This compensation offers control, a fragile sense of safety built from self-sufficiency. But the cost is invisible. To maintain this inner stability, they suppress emotions that might overwhelm them. Anger becomes guilt. Sadness becomes silence. Fear becomes productivity. The body holds everything that the voice cannot. Over years, this emotional compression turns into identity. They no longer know where their strength ends and their survival begins. Compliments about their calmness, their independence, their resilience, all reinforce the same hidden wound. You are loved for being what you had to become, not for who you are. And so, strength becomes both shield and prison. They can manage crises, comfort others, and appear endlessly capable. But when life finally offers them safety, they find themselves unable to rest, because their nervous system no longer remembers how. At some point, being strong stops feeling noble. It starts to feel lonely. The strong one grows into an adult who is deeply capable, the friend who listens, the colleague who stays calm under pressure, the partner who never falls apart. People trust them, depend on them, sometimes even idealize them. But when the night grows quiet and the world stops needing them, there's a strange emptiness that settles in. Because no one thinks to ask how they are. Not out of cruelty, but because their strength makes it seem unnecessary. They have become so fluent in the language of reassurance that they forget how to speak honestly. They say, "I'm fine," because that's what people expect. And slowly, "I'm fine," becomes a kind of self-betrayal. Inside, there's a fatigue that no one sees. A bone-deep exhaustion from carrying other people's storms while standing in the rain themselves. They feel guilty for wanting rest, for wanting someone to notice their quiet ache. And so, they pull further inward. Relationships begin to feel uneven, one-sided, draining, impossible to sustain without performance. Vulnerability feels dangerous, because they've spent a lifetime believing that if they fall apart, everything around them might collapse too. The isolation deepens in small ways. They stop reaching out first. They downplay pain until it disappears. They convince themselves that solitude is peace, when really it's protection. This is the paradox of the strong one. They crave connection but are terrified of being seen as weak. So they build invisible walls around their heart, calling it independence. And yet, beneath that quiet fortress, something tender still waits. A small, forgotten part of them still hopes someone might see through their composure and say the words they never heard enough: "You don't have to be strong right now." There comes a moment when the body stops cooperating with the story of strength. It happens quietly, a sudden fatigue that no amount of sleep can fix, a constant tension in the chest, a tear that slips out without warning. For years, the strong one has carried everything with grace. But now, even grace feels heavy. The breaking point doesn't always look like collapse. Sometimes it looks like numbness. A subtle disconnection from life. Things once meaningful now feel distant, muted, unreachable. They go through the motions, still dependable, still functioning, but inside, there's only static. Psychologists describe this as emotional burnout, but it's more than that. It's the soul's quiet rebellion against self-abandonment. After years of silencing their needs, the body begins to speak for them, through anxiety, exhaustion, illness, or sudden tears that seem to come from nowhere. At first, they try to fix it. They read, meditate, push harder to get back to normal. But deep down, they know what's happening isn't a malfunction. It's a reckoning. The strength that once kept them safe has become the very thing keeping them trapped. It's terrifying to admit that the armor they built to survive now keeps love out. That the calm exterior everyone admires is built atop years of swallowed pain. And yet, this breaking point is not a failure. It's the body's way of asking for honesty. The first crack in the shell of self-control, letting light reach the parts that have waited too long to be seen. It's the moment when survival finally gives way to longing for softness, for rest, for a kind of safety that doesn't depend on performance. And though it feels like falling apart, it's actually the beginning of coming home. Healing begins the moment they stop trying to earn rest. When they finally whisper, even to themselves, "I can't do this alone anymore." At first, that admission feels shameful, as if needing support means failing the role they've spent their whole life perfecting. But slowly, something shifts. The weight begins to move, not because it's gone, but because they're no longer carrying it in silence. Learning to be held is not easy for the strong one. Their instincts resist. When someone reaches out, they pull back, out of habit, out of fear that their vulnerability will make others uncomfortable. But with time and gentle consistency, they begin to see that not everyone will leave, that not every confession ends in chaos. Therapists often call this reparenting, learning to offer oneself the safety and understanding that was missing in childhood. It's the slow process of sitting with one's own emotions without judgment, of realizing that crying is not regression, that asking for help is not weakness, that the child who carried too much still lives inside, waiting to be comforted, not corrected. Trust grows in small moments. A friend listens without fixing. A partner holds space for silence. A quiet evening ends without pretending everything's fine. In those moments, the body begins to unlearn its alarm, to recognize that it's finally safe, that there's life beyond control. And perhaps the most profound part of this healing is not becoming less strong, but redefining what strength means, not holding everything alone, but allowing oneself to lean, not enduring silently, but speaking gently, even when the voice trembles. Not carrying others as a substitute for connection, but walking beside them, equally human. One day, they realize that strength has changed shape. It no longer looks like control, it looks like honesty. It's no longer about holding the world together, it's about letting it touch them. The strong one, who once stood guard over every feeling, now moves more slowly, more openly. They still have their composure, but it's softer now, something lived, not forced. There's no performance left, only presence. They learn that being human is not a downgrade from being strong. It's the highest form of it. Because it takes courage to stay open in a world that once taught you to hide. They begin to cry without apology, to laugh without restraint. They begin to tell the truth when someone asks how they are, not the tidy, polite version, but the real one. And what they find, to their surprise, is that people don't turn away. In fact, connection deepens. The space they once filled with control now fills with warmth. This is the quiet miracle of healing, realizing that you don't have to choose between strength and softness. That being held does not make you fragile. That needing others does not erase your worth. The child who once learned to be the protector becomes the adult who finally allows protection. And in that reversal, the cycle ends. Because real strength is not what survives the storm, it's what allows the rain to fall. It's the courage to say, "I need you." It's the peace of knowing that even when you can't carry it all, the world won't collapse. And when they finally rest, truly rest, they understand what they had been searching for all along, not perfection, not control, just permission to be human.